everyone, welcome back to another video. This is definitely one of my favorite builds I've ever done and definitely has loads of custom stuff in it, so if you like really custom builds, this might be the build for you. But keep in mind, this speed build is going to be very long just because this took me about a week to build, on and off kind of. So normally I recorded about 2-3 hours a day, so about 20 hours this build took, which is loads compared to me normally spending like 1 or 2 hours on a build. So this was definitely a lot, but this build is an entry for the Leqhhx Summer Shell Challenge. It's basically, they give you the layout and you build the build around it. It's quite popular in The Sims, this challenge, so you might have seen it on there before, but yeah, you basically get the layout and there's a few rules, like you can't add any walls on the outside, and yeah, that's basically it. And you have to keep with the layout. You can use basements to kind of elevate it or add any other like details like carpets, but it's basically the 2 floors. So if you also want to do the challenge, the link to that video is in the description, and I think the entries have to be before the 15th of August. But yeah. This build is about 525,000, which is a lot, and most of that comes from the custom plants. Those basically were like 1,000 each because they used the double-sided transparent decal, which was in I think the last update. So that is a lot, and that's where most of the money went. Other than that, it wouldn't be too expensive. So if you were going to build this and you wanted a cheaper version, basically just substitute that for regular Bloxburg plants. But this 525k also includes the car that you can see at the front of the build, and also quite a lot of Bloxburg items, including a mini fridge and also a hot tub. I don't know how much that converts to in like Bloxburg cash, but I think the car is like 70,000, so you can say it's probably around 450,000, which is a bit cheaper than 525,000, but it's still quite a lot. This is basically the main garden. There's a tray on the hot tub which kind of floats unless you actually go inside of it, but this is where you basically chill out. There's almost like a little mini bar and also a swimming pool, and that is how you can get into the inside from the outside, but mostly you'll just go through the front door obviously. Over here is kind of like the second garden, but it's more like a games place. So basically there's a tennis court kind of, and I also made a decal which said like the schools on it, so if you were to like roleplay in this build you could kind of make it more realistic and like play tennis. This has also got almost like a little drink station as well in the corner, so if you're again roleplaying and you want to make it more realistic, you can get like a drink while watching someone play tennis. There's also some little towels there on the table. You can't really tell what it is, but that is what I was aiming for, some like towels, because once you play tennis you probably get quite hot, so you might need some towels. And this is the inside of the build. It has quite a lot of custom stuff, but this bit over here is where you enter obviously, and you have the place to put your shoes. You have a telephone, which I have not included in a lot of my builds, but here you also have a custom rug and lighting. The lighting I used in this build was flint, kind of to make it not as like bright and more cozy. There's a little bag station and a dining room, and obviously the living room and the kitchen. I tried to add quite a few custom pillows onto the sofa to make it seem a bit more realistic, as well as a little one as well just to chill out on. Over here is like a little pantry area, so you can store some groceries and things in it as well. Downstairs there's basically 2 bathrooms and 1 bedroom. You can see the door on the right there. I'll go inside there in a minute, but that is where the first bathroom is. It's a tiny 1x2 or 2x1. I think it'll be a 1x2, but yeah, it's a tiny bathroom, basically a little downstairs bathroom. It only has a sink and a toilet, but it's still fully functionable, and there is a proper bathroom over here. This bit over here is a little laundry area if you want to do role plays, and I think it just adds a lot to the build really. One of my favourite parts about this build also is this bathroom. I think this is probably my favourite part of the indoors. I love the walls and all the bathtub, how it's with all the wood, and there's a little custom tree because why not? Throughout the build I used to use quite a lot of arches in wood, as you can see in that bathroom. I think it just adds a lot to the build. There's also one in this bedroom, as you can see. I saw it on Instagram, I think. I'm not sure who did it, but yeah, I really like how it looks actually, and it just kind of fills up some space because I feel like it'd be too many paintings or too many shelves. But this is a custom bed, as you can see. The views of the beds are basically always pointing outside for most of the rooms. I think it just adds a lot to the build because you can see outside, and it makes it just look a lot nicer, I think. This build also has a lot of textures in it just to try and make it a bit more realistic. Also, I added some blinds on basically all of the windows in this build. This is just a small detail, but for example, the bit that I'm leaving down is basically open, there's no door there or anything, so if you want it to kind of be shut off so no one can enter, you can kind of close that. Otherwise people can just come inside as they want. So especially if you're inside a public server and there's a lot of people on it, you might be best just having that blind down for most of the time, unless you're kind of actually using it to go outside. This is the downstairs bathroom. It's pretty small, but it's really cute as well, I think. Another thing that I really like is the custom kind of big tree going through the window as you go up the stairs. I think that's a really small detail, but it just makes it look a lot nicer. I think if that wasn't there, it would just be kind of plain on the outside. And this is the upstairs. In the upstairs there is 3 bedrooms and I'm trying to think, is it? Yeah, 1 bathroom. I can't even remember now this build, even though I've built it for so long, but yeah, this is, I think probably you would say, the master bedroom, only because it has a really nice view of the garden of where the swimming pool is. So there's everything you basically need is in each room. Yeah, so out there is kind of a balcony. It wouldn't let me go out because of the blinds, so if you're going to build this, just don't put the blinds there because then you can't go outside. But yeah, you basically can use it as a little balcony. Over here is a tiny storage area. It's nothing much, but yeah, you can store stuff on it as well, and you can add more stuff as well, like plants. And this is again possibly a master bedroom. It also has a really nice view of the back of the build. I basically just added some trees so it wouldn't be as plain, and it has a custom bed yet again, and also an ensuite attached to it. So yeah, it's got an ensuite as well, which probably makes it more like the master, but the ensuite is basically similar to the one downstairs. You have the custom almost like bathtub, and obviously the sinks, and yeah, there's obviously a nice view out the window as well. Most of the decals from this build are from 7 iOS. I don't know how to say their user, but yeah, that's where I got most of the decals, including most of the plant decals, as well as the just regular decals and the mirror decals as well. This bedroom is the smallest out of all of them. It's just a single bed which has views onto the tennis area. That is basically all of the build. It's pretty custom on the inside, not as much on the outside, but yeah, that is the build. Make sure to let me know what you think about it down below, and yeah, that's basically it. Thank you so much for watching.